Hey folks, in today's video, I'm going to go over 23 pieces of advice that I would give my 18-year-old self. Let's get into it. So point number one is to always be learning. The person you are at 16 or 18 or 21 isn't the person you're going to be in 10 years' time. You'll go through loads of life experiences, both good and bad. The most important thing is that you learn from every single one of these experiences. Right now, you might be focusing on outcomes like exam scores, getting into the best university, or being the most popular person in school. These are all fine, but they're also vanity metrics which compare you to others. Instead, try and focus on what you've learned and reflect on how much you've grown. If you continuously learn from every single experience, you'll get better and better with time, and then you'll be unstoppable. Tip number two is to learn how to learn. If there's one skill that can completely transform our lives in school, university, and at work, it's learning how to learn effectively. Being able to effectively teach yourself means that you'll be able to get top grades while not having to spend all your time in the library and having time to actually enjoy your life. The problem is that nobody really ever teaches us how to learn effectively or study efficiently. So we end up worrying about exams, we spend ages reading through textbooks without actually being able to remember things, and we might even start to feel like we're just not smart enough. But all of this is completely wrong and avoidable. In fact, there's lots of scientific evidence from research studies into the science of learning that tell us exactly how we should study to maximize the amount that we can learn and minimize the amount of time we need to spend learning it. Books like Make It Stick are great and will save you loads and loads of time if you actually learn how to learn. Number three is to ask for forgiveness, not permission. This one is slightly controversial, but if you spend all your time worrying about what might happen if you do something, you'll end up doing nothing at all. Think about Uber, for example. They didn't go and ask loads and loads of private taxi firms if they could launch their ride-sharing app that would disrupt how we travel. Instead, they just went and did it. You needn't be that extreme, but if you have a calling, you need to back yourself and don't waste your shot. Go for it, don't seek permission. If it goes wrong, seek forgiveness, but at least you tried. Tip number four is don't worry about what others think, as no one is judging you. It's really easy to get stuck in our own heads and worry about what other people think about us. We're social animals by nature, and we worry that if people judge us or laugh at us, it will in some way devalue our social capital. The thing you don't realize is that everyone is so focused worrying about their own problems, very few people will actually be focusing on you and what you're doing. If there are people you feel are judging you, it's probably because they're jealous or they have their own problems. If you're putting yourself out there and executing to make your dreams a reality, you're in the game. You're going to have wins and losses and learn. And often the people judging aren't even in the same game. They're sat in the stands, just watching and not taking action. And you'll beat them with success. If there are people out there you feel are judging you, it's probably because they're jealous or have their own problems. If you're putting yourself out there and executing to make your dreams a reality, you're in the game. You're going to have wins and losses, and you're going to learn. And often the people judging aren't even playing the same game as you. They're sat in the stands, just watching and not taking action, and you'll beat them with your success. Point five is to focus on what you can control and don't worry about what you can't. Something everyone has to deal with is the fact that things happen outside of our control all the time. Natural disasters, prices going up, your favorite sports team losing. You don't have a hand in any of these, and yet you're expected to cope with the results. It can be easy to feel powerless and like a victim when things go wrong. Instead, focus on what you can do to make things better and take action focusing on what you can control. Point six is to be kind. This one is really simple. You never know what other people are going through, so default to being kind to everyone. Tip seven is if someone else has done it, then you can do it too. At times when you doubt yourself, look to others for inspiration. There are billions of people on this planet and many more who've lived before you. Chances are that whatever it is you're trying to achieve, someone else has already done it or at least has done something similar. If something is physically possible, then you can do it. And not every idea you have needs to be original in order to succeed. In Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, he says that there's nothing truly original and it's about putting your own spin on things to make them your own. So if you want to be a YouTuber, for example, you can check out the competition in your niche and find what makes them successful and then reimagine things to discover your own path. Number eight is you're not defined by your job or your money. You're not your job, you're not how much money you have in the bank, you're not the car you drive, you're not the contents of your wallet. If you've ever seen or read the book Fight Club, you may recognize that speech. And if you haven't, I'd highly recommend checking it out. It simply means that you should not define yourself by how much money you have in your bank or the possessions that you own. People who flex using these things typically have little to no personality and use material possessions to hide behind. Those things can be easily gained or lost. It's easy to take your identity and your confidence and and self-worth from your job. For example, like being a doctor. But this is pretty superficial and can lead to low confidence and self-esteem if this is taken away. Number 9 is execute and do. It's easy to imagine how your life will look in the future, or to watch videos like this one and get inspired. But at the end of the day, it's all meaningless unless you actually follow it through and execute on those plans. Rather than reading or watching videos, you need to apply what you're learning and start doing. Using motivators and rewards to help you hit targets is a good strategy. Or reveal your plans to friends and family so that they can motivate you and feel more urgency. Point 10 is don't worry about failing and making mistakes. To expect everything to go perfectly first time is really unrealistic. It's only by making mistakes that you can improve and get things to the level they need to be. Just ask anyone who started their own business. You'll need to fail again and again, and it's only that small percentage of people who see failing as a way to grow and who don't give up who will succeed. How about the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan? He once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Point 11 is to build multiple passive sources of income. Now, something that isn't often taught in school or anywhere else for that matter is the importance of having multiple sources of income. The common way of thinking is that you go to school, you get a job, and then you're set for life. The reality is that most successful people have multiple income streams that all add up together. Multiple streams of income will de-risk everything you do, and you'll learn loads and loads about business in the process. When you're in your 20s, you have lots of time to go and start trying to sell things online or starting up side hustles, which could completely change your life if you stick with them over the next 5 to 10 years. Tip 12 is to invest in yourself. People are way too willing to spend money on entertainment and superficial things, but the very best investment you can make is in yourself. You should never be stingy when it comes to self-improvement. If you have ambition and want to be the best at something, there are courses and mentors that can be paid for to boost your skills and learn from experts. If you want to be a chef, why not jump into a masterclass from top chefs like Gordon Ramsay? Don't limit yourself for the sake of money. Just be careful not to be taken advantage of or spend too much with false gurus. Your investments will come back to you with interest once you've made it to the top. Tip 13 is to spend time creating a productivity system early. Systems and processes are there to help you to be consistent and organize your time effectively. In books like The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, he mentions outsourcing work to virtual assistants to free up his time so that he can build his passive income streams. By focusing on building processes like this, or like a social media calendar, or a second brain in a tool like Notion, you'll set yourself up early for success. Equally, having a morning routine where you get up and get work done will help you to achieve your goals faster. Point 14 is to document your journey and share it. Now, Austin Kleon wrote a great book called Show Your Work, which I'd highly recommend reading as it's pretty short. Whatever you're working on, try and document and share your journey transparently. This will help you to reflect and save your thoughts to come back to you later, and it will also help you to build an audience. Yep, it might seem scary, or you might think, I don't have anything to share, but luckily things like social media and YouTube have made it easier than ever for people to document and share their journeys, regardless of what you're working on. Plus, everyone has something interesting to share and talk about. By sharing your journey, you'll get better at communicating, and you'll learn along the way and build an audience too. Tip 15 is to challenge yourself to grow by doing difficult things every day. One thing you should definitely get into the habit of doing while you're still young is to test your boundaries and challenge yourself with things that are outside of your comfort zone. Trying new things will result in both positive and negative experiences, but both are beneficial and will help you to grow as a person. The worst thing you can do is to stick and stay stuck in your ways. And then when something unexpected and difficult comes along, you'll feel anxious and not be able to deal with it. Confront your fears head on and challenge yourself every single day to open up new opportunities. Tip 16 is to get rid of negative people fast. There will always be trolls and people who'll try and bring you down. Even if you have sympathy or some kind of affection for them, it's best to cut these people out of your life early if they're unwilling to support you. Negativity is like a virus, and it feasts on the weak-minded. It'll only fester until you cut it out. So do yourself a favor and surround yourself with positive people who care about your well-being. Tip 17 is to be consistent and form habits to compound over time. If you can get just 1% better each day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for a year, you'll decline nearly to zero. This is all from James Clear's Atomic Habits, and it nicely explains the power of compounding, where consistency adds up over time. Now, one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes is that life is all about sets and reps. Just like going to the gym, we need to be consistent and and repeat the things we want to get better at. You need to show up and do the work every day to improve. Small, regular habits lead to big, powerful results over time. Tip 18 is to be patient because you have time. Everyone wants to get to the end goal and become a millionaire instantly. But in your 20s, you have so much time, so you can be patient. You need to learn to be patient and not to rush into things, as doing so can actually harm the chance of you achieving your goals. And it can also lead to lots and lots of anxiety. It may be that you lack the necessary expertise, but remember, being first is not the same as being the best. Don't feel pressured to experience everything all at once. Forcing yourself into having a good time is never as satisfying as letting it come naturally. You're still young, you've got time to figure things out, so be patient. Tip number 19 is to try and work for yourself, not others. Try not to work on the time of a boss or work towards the goals that your parents want you to achieve. Think about whether you're an employee or an employer. If you're an employer, you get all the perks of running a business. You can delegate things to others, free up your own time while that business is generating revenue. Try to work with the end goal being a sense of self-satisfaction. If you can figure out a way to work for you and no one else, not only will you put in more effort, you'll also get more out of it too. Not to mention the sense of freedom that you'll get. Point 20 is health, wealth, love, and happiness. Now, according to Aristotle, in order to live the good life and find fulfillment and happiness, you need to take care of all aspects of your life. I try to make sure that I spend equal time improving and working on my health, wealth, love, and my happiness. Now, you don't need to split this time equally every day. For instance, you can work on your business with a laser focus for a few months and then take some time traveling, but make sure you look after each pot. Tip 21 is to solo travel. Traveling is the best way to broaden your mind, and you'll realize how diverse and interesting the world can be. You may even find the role you were born to play within it. Tip 22 is to hold yourself accountable. At the end of the day, no one is going to force you to do anything, and no one is suddenly going to hand you £1 million. It's up to you to take positive action and make things happen. Whether it's going to the gym, making friends, asking that person out on a date, or working on a business instead of watching Netflix, it really is all down to you. If you attack any problems head on and hold yourself accountable and motivate yourself every day, you'll be ahead of 99% of everybody else. So my final tip, tip number 23, is the most important one, and that's to have fun and make friends. You're on this planet for a limited amount of time, and you need to make every second count. You shouldn't be worrying about things, and you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with negative people. Put yourself out there, meet people who like you for you, and have as much fun as possible on this crazy journey. Whatever you're doing, make sure you enjoy it, and make sure you focus on the positives in everything that you've achieved. So that's my list of 23 life lessons for teenagers, but I'm sure there are more. And if you think there are any others that I've missed, please go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I have a really great series of videos focusing on how you can learn anything, which I'll put up in the end cards, so be sure to check that out. And do drop this video a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed it. That's all for now. Stay positive, have fun, and I'll catch you again in the next video.